Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm sitting on the wood that I should be splitting. Putting it off for one more day. But I want to tell you about a warning. Now this comes from a couple of billionaires that run a hedge fund named Elliot. It's actually a huge hedge fund. And they sent out a warning to their investors. And this is, I quote, investors should not assume they have seen everything. I agree. Nobody should assume that, especially it's this environment that we're in. I want to keep going with this, but just know there's never been a recession without a liquidity crisis. You know, people are going to want to know where their money's at. I want my money back. That kind of sums up a crash, And when that happens, all I'll be able to say is, hey, I made a video about it. Just like I made on the last one. I'll put it right here, or maybe it's over here. It'll be up there somewhere. Made a video 10 months ago saying, hey, the billionaires are selling. It's not me saying it. I'm not saying I'm some kind of financial advisor. Don't listen to anything I say, but you might pay attention to the billionaires that are selling millions of dollars of stock all at the same time. That's all I was saying in the video, and here we are. The market has pulled back greatly. I got people in the comments went nuts. I talked about not buying the dip. Talked about all that stuff, and it's, I think that time is coming to where the thing to do for the last 40 years is not going to be that way forever. It actually might change one day. Okay, the hedge fund sent a letter to investors, reported by the Financial Times, told clients that it believed the global economy is an extremely challenging situation that could lead to hyperinflation. The firm led by Paul Singer and Jonathan Pollock. Paul Singer's worth about $5.5 billion. I mean, these guys, they're not sitting on a woodpile making videos, They're sending letters to their investors. I'm just sending you stuff that I see that I want you to know about. I'd like you to take advantage of the situation and not be part of the problem. And I know good and well the masses are not listening. I talk to them all the time. I talk to everybody I see. I try to tell them what's up, and I get deer in the headlight look. I get, yeah, whatever. You've been saying that for a long time. Yeah, and it's right. It's still right. Doing nothing is not an option for me. That's why I make these videos. The hedge fund, it says because they have been through the peaks and troughs of the 1987 crash, the dot-com boom and bust, the 2008 global financial crisis, and the previous bull and bear markets. They have been managing money for 45 years. They have made money every year except for 2. They've actually made 6.4% this year as the markets have declined. They're doing a pretty good job, and I think they're doing their investors a great service by issuing a letter saying, hey, we're looking at hyperinflation, we're looking at societal collapse, civil unrest around the world. Now's a good time to, stop licking honey off a razor blade. You've made it, okay? Let's think about being cautious. Like I say all the time, hold your cards tight to you and know everybody on the other side of the table is trying to take them away from you. It added that the extraordinary period of cheap money is coming to an end and has made possible a set of outcomes that would be or at beyond the boundaries of the entire World War II period. The letter reportedly said the world is on a path to hyperinflation, which could lead to global society collapse and civil or international strife. Elliot reportedly argued that the markets have not fallen enough yet, and that an equity market decline of 50% or more would be normal. So 50% from all-time highs is one thing, 50% from here would be another. It couldn't predict the time it would happen, but who can? Nobody knows that. Just know these kind of people are usually early. The last video I made was 10 months early. We'll see, when this hyperinflation, societal collapse, which you can see if you just open up your eyes and look around. It's very obvious. They blame central bank policymakers for the current global economic situation, saying they had been dishonest about the reasons for inflation. You know, it's tranny inflation. I made a video about that, how there's no such thing as transitory inflation. And boy, it aged well. They said lawmakers had shirked responsibility by blaming it on supply chain disruptions. Now, I got some notes on the back of this thing about Sam Zell. He's another investor I think he's the largest holder of real estate in the United States. He's big into rental properties. I'm not sure what his title is on that, but he's moving into precious metals as well. So I might make a whole video about him. But right now I'm going to talk about Jerome Powell. And what's very odd, sorry if I'm jumping around, just kind of sat down to do this. It's very odd that Jerome Powell, I think, is telling the truth. Is that weird? He came out and told us that there's going to be pain. Housing prices are going to come down. You know, I think it's some kind of weird mind game where they tell you a lie for so long, and then you're like, well, everything they say is crap. And then all of a sudden they'll start telling the truth. So I guess they can say, hey, look, I told you the truth. We were just wrong about the other thing. They knew good and well. When have you ever been able to print all the money you want and not create inflation? The answer is never. That doesn't work. So they're going to continue raising interest rates. We're going to experience more pain. And who knows what's going to happen in the stock market? It could go straight up from here. It could. I would imagine we're going to see the stock market do some crazy stuff. But the thing to ask yourself, when you recover, if you recover, you know, it might be 15 years from now, but when or if you recover, are you going to buy something hard then? What is going on over there? The chickens are going nuts. When you recover, are you going to be able to buy hard assets? Are they going to be available? And at what price? That's another way to think about it. And if you want to hedge your wealth, you know, I don't care if it's with gold and silver. Oil seems to be a good one. Diesel fuel would be a good one right now too. There's plenty of other ways to do it. I'm going to do a video on that. How many different ways we can hedge our wealth, because you could even collect scrap copper. You know, you could strip wire and do that. I mean, there's something for everybody. But I don't want to talk about side hustles in this video. I want to talk about the collapse that is inevitable, and why. I'm gonna let you go after this. Why would you not take sunscreen to the beach just because it was 50% cloudy? If it was there's a 50-50 chance that the sun's going to come out. Why would you not take a way to protect yourself? Think about that. You know, yeah, it looks kind of funny, but it's pretty cloudy. You know, the sun's not out that bad. We'll just go to the beach and we won't worry about it. Or go to the lake or go fishing. Go be stuck on a fishing boat all day without sunscreen. You know, and it's like, well, wait a minute. So what if the sun came out just a little bit? What if it came out full force for an hour? You know? And you're just like, oh man, I'm going to be burnt, and you're going to be miserable for the next few days. In this case, you know, several years. So some type of protection would be nice. And I'm just talking about, you know, purchasing power protection. I mean, not confused with your salvation or anything like that. I know there's going to be comments about how we can't throw it in the streets, and there's going to be comments about how gold and silver is, it's going to be pavement in heaven. I understand that completely, and that's true. Gold's going to be pavement. You can't take it with you. You could leave it to your kids and grandkids and actually leave them some wealth. There's a few scriptures on that as well. But there's ways to hedge your wealth, and it doesn't have to be precious metals. It could be anything you can think of. Just try to think outside the box. We're heading into this environment. Nobody can tell us what to do. I have traveled all over the place talking to super wealthy hedge fund managers, CEOs of companies and mining businesses, and just the greatest minds I've ever met. And nobody can tell you what to do. You have to come up with that conviction on your own. And okay, well, this is what the wealthy are doing. Maybe I should look at that. Don't ever take anybody's advice on YouTube. I got to say that. I really don't want anybody to take my advice because I'm just really, I have people all the time. You told me to buy this. No, I didn't tell you to buy nothing. I told you to think about it. All right, guys, look, have an awesome, awesome day. You're warned, you're blessed. Later.